I wanted to introduce you to the three S's of sobriety. Look, one day that is going to work. One day I'm going to make that sound like ABBA and it will be amazing. But I call it the three S's of sober because there are three stages to getting sober and they're all quite different and they all begin with S, which is lucky, isn't it? And I wanted to make this video because I think a lot of people think you put down a bottle and suddenly become an Instagram influencer. But sadly, life does not work like that. There is a set of steps to go through. Now, the first stage of becoming sober is obviously stopping drinking. Now, that is never a one and done thing. That is never just like I decided to stop and I stopped. It is always a process. It is always a stage. It varies from person to person and it varies from method to method. It can be a few hours, few weeks, few months. For me, that method is always about confronting your beliefs, changing your thoughts, and then choosing new actions. And that is very much a process that it is best to go through over the period of a few weeks, maybe a few months. So there will always be a stage of stopping drinking. And let's look at it, as it is. People relapse. Not everybody gets it right the first time, just like it took me 3 goes to pass my driving test. Not everybody goes from drinking heavily to being completely sober first time with no problems. So if you find yourself relapsing, you might just find that you're in that stopping stage. And if you are in that stopping stage, don't worry, it doesn't last forever. You can move into the stabilizing stage. That's the next stage where you kind of get a grip of it and you kind of like start to build that sober life. What happens is the initial euphoria, the initial kind of positive benefits of not poisoning yourself every day, once that starts to wear off and you start to get back to the grind of life, that is where some people find they have a problem. But you've got to keep working through that stage. And there are some specific things that people tend to work on in that stage. One is to find a new way to socialize. 2, people often work out a new balance with their relationships, a new way they relate to friends and families. People also in that stage, they tend to get quite good at managing their thoughts, dealing with those cravings. People also start to build a sober tribe in that community, or at least a group of people who meet around something that doesn't revolve around alcohol. You don't have to have exclusively sober friends. You just need to find places you can go which aren't just completely obsessed with alcohol. And the biggie in that stabilizing phase is people start to confront their emotions. Many people drink to ignore their emotions. If you stop drinking, they are going to come back at you with a little bit of force. So finding a way of confronting and dealing with those emotions, increasing your emotional social intelligence. So those are the kind of things that people tend to do in the stabilizing phase. And once they've stabilized, once they've got good at all of those things, they've put those elements into place, they can move into the third stage, the success stage, the place where we all want to be, where the magic really, really happens. And people in that stage, you tend to find that they work on different things. They tend to work on strengthening their body. They tend to work on ordering their mind. They tend to work on increasing the size of their heart. And they tend to work on waking up their spirit. So that body, mind, heart, and spirit, those are the kind of things that people in the success area work on. And, where it all comes together, where you start to actually genuinely find meaning and purpose in your life. And that is what most people think sobriety is. And it's what it can be. But you've got to realize that there are 2 stages before getting to that. So if you are in one of the other stages and you don't feel like you're rocking the free world, don't worry. It'll come. But you have to do the work. You have to move through all of those stages. So wherever you are on that journey, whether you're stopping, whether you're stabilizing, or whether you're succeeding, there are 3 things that can really help you move to the next level. The first is some kind of guidance. That could be a coach or a sponsor or a mentor or a therapist, or if you're incredibly lucky, just a good friend. But look, if you want to be the hero of your journey, you need to find Obi-Wan, you need to find Gandalf. None of the heroes in those stories, they ever get anywhere on their own. They always have somebody who's helping them, guiding them, giving them space to become themselves, asking them insightful questions. So get yourself some help, coach, mentor, therapist. Also, do some learning, do some studying. It doesn't have to be books. If you love a book, read a book. But if you want to read an audiobook, read an audiobook. If you want to listen to a podcast, YouTube videos, there's an awful lot of resources out there. The internet is full of it. So find a style of information that's comfortable for you and immerse yourself in it. Find out what it is that helps people to not just get sober, but to stay sober. What are the sober superstars doing? Nick their idea. And then finally, what comes up time and again in the research that we do, the thing that keeps people sober more than anything else is community. Having a good group of people around you really does make the difference. So go out and find that sober tribe or that tribe of people who are happy to do things with you that don't revolve around alcohol. So those are the 3 stages of sober. I know. I will. I'll quit it one day. Stop, stabilize, succeed. And if you move through those stages, you can find the life you want, the life you deserve, the life you need.